Hello and welcome to Fibertown. I'm Emily and this is episode 23. It's July 3rd, 2013 and I'm here with my friend Al. This is Alice and she's just hanging out today. It's been super rainy here in the DC area, but the torrential tropical rain seems to have stopped long enough for me to record out on the porch. So yay, welcome to Fibertown. Glad you're here. I missed everybody last week. It's so nice to be back talking to my camera, talking to you guys. And we have a giveaway today. So we got to do the June FO drawing, so we will get to that very soon. I know the birdies are singing because the rain has stopped, so yay. You might hear, probably not, but you might hear the bluebird babies that are getting ready to fledge. They're getting loud in the bluebird house, and the parents are being run ragged to feed them all the time. So I expect them to be out and about pretty soon. I am either Chain of Fools or Fibertown on all the interweb places, social media. So come and find me and say hi. I haven't been on, what's it called? MyFitnessPal in a while. So if you've tried to friend me there, I'm sorry, I'm going to get to it. The last few weeks have not been about fitness for me. They have been about eating whatever I want. Basically sitting around and entertaining guests in the house. So the visit was a Spanish invasion, went really well. We had a good time. It was the shortest trip ever here, which made it a lot easier for everybody. Usually they come in for weeks and weeks or a month. So, but it was very good. I think one of the highlights was when I made the pancakes. I used the Joy of Cooking pancake recipe. You know, it's amazing, and you fry it in butter. It's just so good. And I put some of the Meduseld maple syrup on them, and they were like, can you write this down for us? And we got them a huge Costco jug of maple syrup, which is not as good as the Meduseld, I'm sure, but they are going to be set for pancakes in Spain. So, yes, it was fun. It was exhausting. I did get some knitting done and some spinning done. So yeah, let's get right into it. Let's do the drawing first. Tons of June FOs, 150 to be exact. I've put 2 through 150 because I was number 1. Let's generate and see who it is. Alice is apparently going to stay on my lap this whole show. I don't know how that's going to go. Let's party like it's 1999. Okay, so who's 99? 99 is going to be... Which page is that on? 99. Let's see. It is on page 5, 4? We'll see. It's on page 4. At the bottom. Guess who it is? It is Miss Woolly Knits, who is a sweetie pie. And she made a pair of easy adjustable slippers. And she stuck a bird on it. Do you know that episode of Portlandia where they put a bird on it? She put a bird on it. Yay! And she crocheted. Excellent, Miss Woolly Knits. You are a doll. Contact me and tell me what pattern you want, up to the value of $7. And guess what? It's July, so we have a new thread up. So go and put your stuff in. There's some awesome stuff already. And I love you guys. I love your knitting. I love your crocheting. Everything you make is beautiful. Beautiful. Stay tuned until the end because we have another drawing. Not just the July one, but a different one. So let's get into show and tell. And the first show and tell I have, Alice, my darling, you have to say goodbye. I'm going to have delicate stuff up here. Say bye-bye. Say hi, Miss Woolly Knits. Congratulations. Okay. Go lay down over there. Time for her morning nap. Okay, so my mother-in-law is a fiber artist extraordinaire. In her professional career, she was a prototype designer for stuffed animals. She worked in a factory in France and made the prototypes, just figured out the most economical way to use the fabric and all the other materials, designed it, put them together, and then they were manufactured in Asia. So she has that mind. Her latest obsession, she's also a knitter and a crocheter, but her latest obsession is bobbin lace. And she goes to bobbin lace meetups. They have traveling teachers that come, and she brought some new bobbin lace stuff on this trip. So prepare to have your mind blown. This is a bobbin lace fan that she did the lace work and sent it off to have it attached to a fan. This is for my mother. She made this for my mother. She's made one for my daughter and myself. And she's actually putting together a whole like folkloric outfit of the region for my daughter. Which apparently is going to cost like a pretty penny by the time it's finished. It's all handmade. So, are you astounded? But that is not all. Let me just put this down so I don't wreck it. Okay. Bobbin lace item number 2 is, oh gosh, she's made so many things. Okay, well, a little clutch covered in bobbin lace. Don't know when I'll be using this, but it's a thing of beauty. She also made a bobbin lace choker. It's almost like a garter, but she loves beads and all that stuff. And she has made bracelets for me before that are gorgeous. And then the next thing I would consider the pièce de résistance is a stole. And it goes on and on. She said this was made of strips that she joined. I know. So, this is just amazing. It's made out of silk. And what I will do is, if you've never seen bobbin lace in action, by somebody who's really good at it, you should see it. So I'm going to find some good YouTube links, and I'll post them in the show notes. It's a mantilla. And I will, she gets her pattern set up on a bolster. She has all these strings on these different wooden bobbins. And it's just like, you get a bunch of them in a room together, and it's just, so the noise is awesome, the product is awesome, they look awesome when they're doing it, it's just awesome. So bobbin lace is a win-win. Okay, so I'm going to stop pretending to be a Spanish lady with my bobbin lace shawl. I will put that back in the box nicely later on. And let's get into my FOs, which are going to pale in comparison, but that's okay. Back to the humble knitting. I finished some stuff. Sorry, I've got bobbin lace everywhere. I finished my Mint Choco Soco out of Fiber Nymph Dye Works in the Bounce Space. Stripey mint chocolate socks. These were done 2 at a time, and this is the Vanilla Bean pattern by Emily Locke O'Grady. And it's a recipe kind of thingamajig, where at the color change you slip one, knit one for that whole color change round, and that just adds this nice little extra visual interest. I did a regular heel flap, and what else did I do? Top down, 64 stitches on US 1.5, which is a 2.5 millimeters. I used my ChowGoo. I did 2 at a time magic loop, and they fit. They were snug. I think that my color work, even slip stitches, is really snug. So if you're like me, you might want to consider adding a few extra stitches to your normal vanilla sock pattern for the slip stitches, just because they might be a little on the tight side. But I blocked them and they're much, much better, and I hope the lighting didn't suddenly get really weird. The sun came out. Shocking, we haven't seen it in days. So, we might get more rain though. It's been back and forth. So anyway, mint chocolate socks are done. I also have a hoe, which is now falling on the floor. This is my sock design. I don't know what they're going to be called yet, but they're done out of Hazelnut's Artisan Sock. Again, 64 stitches. And I've used some fun stitch patterns in here. It's still wet. It's been so humid it hasn't dried yet. But I love the way it's looking. I love the way the ear of corn stitch goes down here as well. Oh, it's down here. Color Sagebrush. US 1.5. I did these on my Carbons DPNs, which are awesome. I love the DPNs much more than the circulars. So I need to get cracking on the second sock. Things I did on this sock that I might do differently on the second are, I did a lace heel flap. I carried the lace pattern down the heel flap, and that's fine for me. I always wear my hand knit socks. If I'm wearing them in shoes, I wear them with open back shoes. Alice, what's that? I think she just found like a wine foil label on the floor out here. We still haven't cleaned up from all the, yeah, there was a lot of wine. Anyway, don't eat that. So that's one thing you might need to be changed, depending on your preference. And the other thing was I carried the lace all the way down to the toe decreases, and almost to, not all the way to the end, but a little bit too far. I think I might need to start just plain stockinette at the toe a little bit sooner. So they're very fun, and they fit beautifully, and this is beautiful yarn, la 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 la. So I may or may not write this pattern up. I've never done that. Charts? I don't know if I can do charts. But if I decide to take the plunge and you are willing to test knit them for me, can you let me know? Send me a PM on Ravelry. As I said, I'm not sure it'll happen, but if you would like to, send me a PM and I'll just sort of keep that in the back of my head. Alright, that is it for show and tell. So let's move on into whips. Whips. I cast on something new and I pulled out something old. Let's do the something new first. The wingspan. And this is from my fiber optic paint box gradient. You can't see it's bitter lime, which is right in there, to rose, which I've already knit, and in between we've got other greens and blues and purples. So the wingspan, I'm modifying this. Here it is so far. There's the rose. I'm modifying this to have, it's a free pattern, to have 60 stitches cast on instead of 90, because I want it to be more scarf-like, so I can make it longer. So here we are. Started in the rose, and then the next little wing is a variegated, a mix of the rose and the next color next to it, which is this one. Then we're moving into another variegated, which you can't really see very well here that it's variegated, but it is. And the variegated, you do sort of these short rows on the wings, so on some of the variegateds, you get this effect from the short rows, which I wasn't sure if I liked or not, but now I'm really loving this, and it has cashmere. I don't remember if it's nylon, cashmere, MCN, but it does have cashmere content, and I think it's going to be fantastic with all these lovely colors. So this is like my free and easy summer knitting project, and I can just pick it up and go and know where I am right away. Don't need to look at the pattern until I get to the end of the wing. So That's living in my little Woodland Creatures bag that I made from fabric from Gather Here in Cambridge, Mass. So that is whip number 1. Whip number 2, you might remember, if you've been watching for a while, is the Old Town. And literally just got this out for knit night on Monday night. And knit night is fun now because there's a newborn baby every time. So I get to have a baby snuggle. Alrighty. Old Town is by Carol Sunday. And I'm doing this on, I don't even remember the needles. 5s. Chowgoos. It's out of BFL Sport from Blue Moon Fiber Arts. It's in the colorway. Something about Arctic, something about winter. Anyway, it's gray. This is apparently my Year of the Gray cardigan. A few years ago I had my Year of the Green cardigan. So here it is. This is the loveliness with built-in short row shoulder shaping where it's all in one piece and the construction is super fun. So it's not too hot today. Try it on. So I'm in the home stretch really. But I'm in the most boring part of the sweater. All I have to do is knit maybe a foot more with purl rows, doing this lace edging, and occasional increases to the ribbing. And then I have to do the ribbing, and then it's done. Sleeves are done. Look. Hi, sleeves. It's really going to be lovely when it's blocked and the lace is all purty. So, if this will push me over the edge in Stash Dash. If I can finish the sweater by whatever that August date is, then I will have my Stash Dash complete. Couple sweaters, couple spinning projects, you've got Stash Dash. So that is going to see some love regularly, I hope. I plan. The Old Town. Found my Chowgoo interchangeables. Those are my 2 whips. I do have to get cracking and cast on the second sagebrush sock. Maybe that's what I'll call it. Somebody said, I think maybe Miss Woolly Knits suggested that, or maybe it was Meduseld. Somebody suggested I call it sagebrush. And that's getting stuck in my head. So, shall we talk spinning? Because it is the TDF, Tour de Fleece, which goes simultaneously with the Tour de France. And I am playing this year. This is the very first year that I have seriously joined teams. I'm doing it every day, and I have my first FO. Still wet, darn humidity. But this is quite a thing of beauty. I think you must agree. Are we going to have a focus? I'm guessing this is a fingering weight in most places. It is 604 yards of a 2-ply, and it is from the Unwind Yarn Company in the Aurora Borealis colorway, and it is 100% Polworth. So, it's got beautiful browns and blues and purples and some blacks even. Oh, and that's looking very purple is my tie. It's hand spun, left over from my loop bump. Not part of the braid itself. There's another one. Excited. I love this. Yes, it's spun thinner than I wanted it to, but I think it's okay. I think this will be amazing in some lace, maybe not lace, but shawl kind of project. The preparation on the Polworth was insanely beautiful. So it just wanted to spin that way, and I let it go because I didn't want to fight it. And I'm very happy with that. So that's my first TDF FO. And I do have my second TDF project on the wheel, and that is, I'm thinking I'm pretty much all on wheels for this Tour de Fleece. I got out my giant bucket of alpaca, and this is my next 1 ounce that I'm going to get to, but I do have 1 ounce spun up already. I'm doing this semi-woolen So sort of a long draw, but maybe, I don't know, supported long draw. I don't know if that's technically what I'm doing, but I'm using 2 hands, not 1. But I am letting twist come into it kind of willy-nilly, but then I'll sort of smooth things out or untwist and play with it, because this is Korea alpaca from the alpaca called Hayes from a farm in Bronx, Pennsylvania. I can't remember the name of the farm. Oh yes, no, Zephyr? Something like that. And I'm doing this in 1 ounce quantities, and then I will 3-ply it, and with the goal of someday casting on a blanket, an alpaca blanket. Now, when I do this, alpacas are really dusty. They like to, if you've ever seen them, they like to get on their back and roll in the dust. So the fleeces are, this is like a cloud of beautifulness. But the fleeces can be really dusty. Generally, there's not poop like in a sheep fleece. But this dust is persistent. Whenever I spin it, I get a smudge. Yeah, it's this hand. On my left hand, index finger, I get a smudge of alpaca dust, dirt, sludge. I don't know what it is, but it makes my finger dirty. I wash the yarn twice, and the first washing still has dirt in it. And I mean, I washed this fleece, but apparently not well enough. I'll live with that. It's okay. It reminds me of where the, where the fiber comes from. I'm okay with that. So we could potentially be sleeping underneath a blanket that is full of alpaca dust. Life is not meant to be clean? I don't know. Say what you will. Let's see. So that's going to be a lot of beige to spin, right? Because my goal is to spin the 14 ounces that are left. So I started out with some color. I'm going to beige, 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 but I'm sure that in the middle of my beige, I'm going to get bored. So I am also on Team Highland Handmaids, so I can spin this, which is a mixed BFL in the Arabesque colorway. And this is something that's brand new to me. I've never spun mixed BFL. I've never spun Highland Handmaids. So I will just throw this on the wheel, and I think it'll become something more on the worsted to chunky side. The other reason I'm doing like a semi-woolen is that it goes, for the alpaca, is because it goes really fast, much faster than worsted spinning, which is inchworm, short draw, much faster. So I can do 2 ounces a day easily, probably 3. So yeah. Last thing in spinning. Do you remember those singles that my friend had that she wanted me to ply? Well, I did the samples. I think I showed you all the samples. Then I sent them off to her to swatch. And she did. Let me show you the swatches. She gave them back to me at midnight. This was the 2-ply. This was a Merino Tussa Silk blend. This was the 2-ply, so lots of like marling, true barber pole, and this is how a tiny swatch knit up. 2-ply would be great for lace because it's very two-dimensional and shows the open work better. She did not want to do that. Then I did a true 3-ply, which looks like this. I like this one. It's a nice round yarn, but she was not a fan of how the colors were looking, I believe. I think she liked the 2-ply a lot, actually. I think I remember her saying that. She liked the look of it. And then I also did a Navajo ply where the colors stayed together, you got some stripes, and this is what we ended up doing. Can you believe the difference? Navajo ply, 3-ply, 2-ply. Same fiber. So I spun it all up, plied it, it was already spun. I plied it Navajo and got about 230 yards, and she's going to make some baby items because the stripes are pretty small. So it's going to need something with a small circumference to keep the stripes going. So baby hat, baby leggings, leg warmers, you know, for when you put them in a carrier and their little legs are bare because their pants ride up in the carrier. So, and that'll hopefully maintain the stripes pretty well. So that was a fun little exercise to see what happened. Let me see if I have a picture of the yarn as it was done. She does have the yarn now. I did not hang on to it. But do I have a picture? I do not. Alrighty. That's okay. You got to see the sample. So, let's talk review. I have a review, and I'm going to try to do my best. My reviews, I feel like I like to show in a review what I like the best, but let me talk a little bit about this one. This is called Knit Together. Knit asterisk together. So knit together how many you want. A couple million is the idea here, because this is a fundraiser for the Oklahoma tornado victims, and this is an ebook that was very generously gifted to me by Marion 1, a fantastic lady. And I know a few other people have reviewed this as well. She's gifted this to several podcasters. So let me just show you what struck me in this book. It's by Bobbin Knits, and it is 20 patterns for $20. So seriously, $1 a pattern. 100% of the profits go to Oklahoma tornado relief. And I'm amazed that they pulled together something this beautiful in a very short amount of time. So 20 patterns for $20. And it's a wide variety of patterns, beautiful patterns, some well-known designers, some not so well-known designers. So let me show you. This is what it's called. Knit Together. Sorry, I've got kids here.
I heard a knock on the door, the front door.
The front door? The front door, huh? All right, folks, hang on a sec. I'm back. Sorry about that. I was saying, Knit Together by Bobbin Knits. And let me just show you some of my favorite patterns from here. You know, they have the patterns, a lovely visual index. Here it is. And then they have a little blurb from each designer. It's talking about their reaction and their thoughts about what happened in Oklahoma. And a quote usually at the end. And they talk about their patterns, and it's just lovely. So what I love is you can click on a picture, and it'll take you to the pattern. So this first one I clicked on is the Split Rail Fence Cowl, and that's by Anne Podlasek. And this is gorgeous. I love this. This would be great in a commercial yarn, a hand spun, really lovely cowl. That was one that stuck out to me. I also liked, the socks are gorgeous. Just need to get back to the visual index. Oh my gosh, here's a sock. Beautiful sock. These are the Green Gable socks. Can you see why I like these? They remind me of my own. What else? It's got lovely charts. You've probably seen this one. This is the first pattern, the Watching Hawks. This would be great in like a Blue Moon Socks that Rock variegated. What else stuck out in my head? Watching Hawks, Split Rail Fence. Let's see. This one might get, my MCS from Shalimar, my Breathless. The Targety shawl. I think that's gorgeous. Enough, there's twisted rib. It looks like a lot of interesting stuff in here. Would really show off a luxury yarn. I also loved the toys they had in here. They have 2 toys, and there's a Fair Isle option, which is gorgeous. Such a great idea for toys to do a Fair Isle. This is Miley, the Traveling Monster. And you get the nice, you can't see that, but that's the Fair Isle chart. And then this Miranda the owl. Adorable. Adorable. Love it. So those were some of my favorites, but there are 20 patterns in here. So what better thing to do than to gift this to somebody? And that 100% of the proceeds go to Oklahoma tornado relief. There are some garments in there as well. There's a vest, which is adorable. Cardigan by Annie Modisette, which also was part of my favorites. Let me see if I can find that one. I'll find it in a minute. So anyway, that was Knit Together Oklahoma, and I'm thrilled that I have these patterns now, and there are definitely several that I will make. So yeah, thank you again, Marion, and you might consider this if you have a few extra PayPal funds. All right, so I want to talk about another pattern as well as a giveaway. You know Lauren of the Lem Knit Crochet podcast? You do? Good. If you don't, go check her out. She has a Boston Terrier named Charlie, who's the cutest stinking thing, aside from Alice, that you will ever see. And he's a good boy. He's a much better boy than Alice. Anyway, she has a new pattern out, and I am in love with it. It's socks, and they are inspired by her friend Josh's artwork. And go see Daddy. Go see Daddy. They're called the seaweed socks. And for I think the next 3 weeks, here they are. How beautiful is that? So you can see it in a tonal and a variegated, and it looks gorgeous in both. And they're inspired by some seaweed in a piece of artwork that her friend did. And her friend passed away from histiocytosis, and she's been doing a huge fundraiser all year to donate to research and awareness for this. And she's done an excellent job. So this is her last push before her fundraising site goes down. And she has a coupon code out. If you go and look at the Lem Knit Crochet podcast, I'm sure that's where she has the coupon code. But this is a pattern that is remarkable, not just for, it's beautiful, it's for a good cause, but it has built-in tutorials of how to knit a sock. I think toe up, she does the toe, she does cast on, she does heels, it's a true afterthought heel. And she has really thought this through and been very thorough with it. So it's a huge value for many reasons. The philanthropy, it's a beautiful sock, and then it's a huge how-to pattern with lots of tutorials. So a really excellent deal, and I would like to give one away. So I'm going to open a thread, and as a prompt, I'd like you to tell me something. Okay, two things, either one thing or another. Either something nice a friend has done for you, or something nice you have done for a friend. And guess what? Lauren is also going to give a pattern away. So 2 folks will be chosen from that thread to get the seaweed sock pattern. Lucky, lucky you. So go ahead and take a look at the Ravelry group, the Fiber Town with Ravelry group with an R-E, and just leave a note there and tell something nice that you've done for a friend or a friend has done for you. Alrighty. Yay! I have one acquisition. And it's a big one, and I did not bring it out here. I was finally able to make a purchase of a loom, a better loom. I decided to get the Cricut 15-inch shocked rigid heddle loom. And like I do, I haven't woven in, 4 months? 3 months? Since that other terrible loom turned me off. I haven't woven in a few months, but I have had a specific scarf in mind this whole time. It's the one that Diane of Knittables has done, and it has a mirrored warp. So it's with Blue Moon, and it's hand painted, so you find the spot where the warp mirrors each other. So basically, coming and going when you're doing your warping, you have the same color repeats. It looks amazing. I'll show you in a sec. And I wanted to do that. So I took me a few days to figure out the warping. I did it. And now, you know, I'm on my third try of this scarf. And I am resigned to the fact that I'm not doing it probably to get the result I want, but it has been, again, a learning experience. So first I used the wrong weft. It was too heavy. I needed a lace weight weft. Then I changed to the weft, a different weft. Then I noticed that probably I was using the wrong heddle, and I needed to go down to a smaller heddle. So I had to take out all the warp. I had to take out all the weft, retie on the warp. And I'm on my third go around, and it's still not looking like I think it should. All right, so this is how it should look. See that? Amazing. Let me show you it all stretched out. There. That's Diane's. I want to be like Diane when I grow up. So this scarf is probably going to be something else entirely, but I am forging ahead now. Third try. I'm not doing this again. We'll see. I didn't bring it out here because I'm afraid of moving things around, and you know, the heddle slams down on the weft and it looks funky if I hold the loom up. So, but on the bright side, I'm very excited about weaving with my hand spun. I did that before and it came out amazing. So that'll be the next thing to go on there after this mistake of a scarf. So, all right, folks. I have talked a lot today. I wanted to catch up with you all. I'm so glad I did. Alice, want to come over and say goodbye? She's having her nap. Yeah, so find me places. Chain of Fools, Fibertown. Post your FOs in the July FO thread, and I will definitely see you all next week. And I don't know if I'll have any FOs for you, but definitely some spinning to show off. So I hope you all are enjoying your tour de Fleece and enjoying your summer, or as it were, your winter if you are in the southern hemisphere. And until next week, take care. Bye-bye.